Cecilia.
Regan.
And Faye.
Today we're going to be exploring the different types of theatres and how they connect to this playwright.
So we're just going to be going through some styles of theatre and some plays.
Naturalistic theatre is the first one that we're exploring. What is naturalistic theatre? Naturalistic theatre is a movement in European drama, or naturalism is a movement in European drama and theatre that developed in the late 19th and early 20th century. It refers to theatre that attempts to create a perfect illusion of reality through a range of dramatic and theatrical strategies. So things like detailed three-dimensional sets, everyday speech forms, a secular worldview, an extension of the social range of characters portrayed, so away from aristocracy and more about common people and their lives and the troubles that normal, ordinary people would face. Naturalism was criticised in the 20th century by a whole host of theatre practitioners, for example, Stanislavski. He argued for a puncturing of the illusion of the surface of reality in order to reach the real forces that determine it beneath its appearance. In place of the absorption within a fiction that naturalistic performances promote in its audience, he attempted to inculcate a more detached consideration of the realities and issues behind them that the play confronts. His approach is a development, however, of a critical project initiated by naturalism. It is a form of modernized realism. Influences and themes of the play. Naturalistic writers were influenced by the theory of evolution from Charles Darwin, and they believed that the one's heredity and social environment determines one's character. And whereas realism seeks only the themes tend to focus on social, political, historical, and economical themes. So, for example, the example I use is Fences by August Wilson, which was written in 1983, but it's based in the 50s. And it's historical in the sense that it's right after the Second World War, and one of the characters is affected heavily by the Second World War, and it's also fits really well into the social theme that it focuses on problems that black people had to face in the 1950s due to racism. And the practitioners, of course, that was Stanislavski is one of the main practitioners of naturalism. Fences, it's divided into two acts. Fences was written in 1983 by August Wilson, he was half white, half African American, and Fences is also impacted by his past because his father left him as a child and he was left with his mother who was strong and independent, and that's why the characters in Fences reflect his family. And
he writes quite a lot about his life.
Yeah, he writes an awful lot about his life in his plays. The whole play is about African Americans in the 1950s that face things like adultery, but also racial prejudice.
Epic theatre is the next one we were looking at. Basically, like, epic theatre it's a style of theatre where it's not natural, it's completely different to naturalistic and any style of theatre. Basically, Brecht was like, he was like the evolution of it. No one really, everyone thought it was a bit strange, they thought it was weird, they didn't understand it. And then Breck found a way to portray it in a different way. And it's still very serious, all the topics in it and there's still political arguments in it, and it's all very serious, but he brings it out in a funny way where people want to listen to him, people want to listen to what he's saying, but they enjoy watching it as well. So he uses things like techniques, like he has placards, so the stage directions go on placards instead of just, no one usually reads the stage directions out because it's not naturalistic to do that. So he does do that, but in a different way. And then he also adds things like singing and dance to make, it's not very often you see singing and dancing plays, so that's strange. And then even things like the people like being objects or stuff like that, they usually tend to keep the set on stage. Just things that look odd and it makes you think a little.
And it's also a comedic element to his plays as well.
Yeah, he likes to make them a bit of a laugh for people, so he does. And it demands the audience to think, so everything that he does, the audience are needing to think about that. Like, it's not just, they're not giving it away, he's not telling it to them, they're having to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, and it's not always what's happening, it's why, it makes them think why it's happening,
Yeah.
and what is happening. That's not the point.
Mm.
He likes to get them to not connect with the characters, and the characters themselves are not allowed to connect with the storyline, so they don't really have a background, they're just being there saying the lines and what they need to do, just to get the story across.
He tends not to like have, the characters don't actually have names, they're not named people, like there's a sergeant and stuff like that, and they're just called a sergeant, they're not people, they're not, it's like they don't matter, but they do, they've still got such a massive role, but they don't matter.
And the unnamed characters, they tend to also add to comedic effects. So when they break out of character, there's often breaking of the fourth wall, which is also comedic, but also it has this hidden message. It's implicit, and the audience often, either they can read into it and find out more, or because most of his audience were working class people, they would just they would watch it and be able to relate to it because they were often based on their lives and it's their form of entertainment.
Yeah. So the themes is society and class, which is obviously Mother Courage. It was a pure working class family, and the children had to earn, they had to go out and earn everything for themselves. Another theme was wealth, again, money. Warfare, obviously, because it was based in the war times. Warfare was a massive part. And religion was another one that we figured out when we were doing our research.
With the religion, Mother Courage seems to swap what religion she is. She goes from Protestant to Catholic all the time, because in the extract with the chaplain, she becomes what he is, and then she decides to change halfway through.
And it was really common during the 16th and the 17th century because poor people were often controlled by what religion they had, so they often, they sometimes switched if they weren't true to the religion, but they had to stick to one, otherwise they'd be persecuted.
So Breck's work really is, it's all, he likes to do real life things but in a funny manner, which doesn't really make sense, but it does make sense.
It's dark humour.
Yeah.